Are you a new player or someone that wants to start crafting? Well, if that's the case, this is the video for you. In this video, we are going to be covering everything that you need to know about crafting. For example, what items should you craft, how can you craft, and what do you need to start? Now, for the sake of this video, I decided to create a new fresh account to replicate the feel of a new player starting off Albion. So the first thing that I do is I took the 3-day free premium that you get once you finish the tutorial. And the first thing that I know is that I need to have money in order to craft, because in order to grow any business, you need some starting capital. Now, it doesn't matter if you do solo dungeons, if you do group dungeons, if you do expeditions, if you do open world. The first thing that matters is that you get your first 1 million silver. Now, this process shouldn't take any more than a couple of hours or even an hour if you're lucky, and it will really speed up the crafting process for you. So, now that you have your first million, the first question that you have to ask yourself is, what exactly am I going to craft? Well, there are 1,000,001 different items that you can craft in your own and that are profitable. Now, I have a video about how you can find these items, but if you don't want to watch it, I'll just give you a very brief lesson. The most important part is just keep an eye on the items you're buying. For example, the other day I went gathering and I wanted to buy some Avalonian tools, and I was like, wow, this is super expensive. And that's how I found out that it was good and profitable to craft Avalonian tools, because I went to buy one and they were super overpriced. So now that we have the money and we know exactly what we're going to craft, the only thing that's missing is, well, crafting it, of course. The first thing that's very important to know is crafting is just like any other thing in the Destiny board. So in order to craft something tier 6, you have to have tier 5, tier 4, tier 3, and tier 2 unlocked before. Now, rule of thumb, on tier 3s and tier 2 items, you are never going to make profit, because these are what are called transitional items. So they're items that are only used in order to transition to something better. In this case, which is the generalistic tree, which is a tier 4, which is, well, where most players are playing. That being said, we are going to avoid at most to craft tier 3s and tier 2 items. Now, if we want to craft, for example, a pickaxe tier 4, we do have to have it unlocked at tier 3 and tier 2. And if they're not possible to craft, what we can do is study them. Well, what is study, you may be wondering? Well, studying is a process that pretty much destroys you an item, but grants you 275% of the fame that you would get by crafting it. So instead of crafting an item at a negative, we are buying an item at the market for cheap and then studying it in order to get this extra 275% extra fame of crafting. Now again, this will destroy your item and will have a silver cost in order to study. You can also use focus if you want to gain a little bit more fame, but I do not recommend it. Here we studied some hammers, and I unlocked on my main account the tier 4 hammers ready to craft. Warrior gear, for example. Now, somewhat like cooking in real life, in order to do something, you need to know the recipe. Now, to do this, what you can do is you go to your Destiny board, you click on any item that you want to know the recipe for, and you scroll down until you see the materials needed. Now, it's very important that you know there's multiple ways of getting the materials. You can either gather them, which takes a long time and a lot of times is not worth to do, or you can just buy them straight from the market, craft them, and sell the finished product. So now that we know everything that there is to know about crafting, the only thing that's really missing is just start. So in this account, we're going to be crafting 3 different items. The first one, they're going to be Avalonian pickaxes. The second one are going to be miner work boots, and finally, the last thing are the miner backpacks. Now, all of these items belong to the miner work tree, so it's pretty good for us as we only need 1 tree in order to craft all of these. So, if we check the resources, in order to get the miner work boots, we are going to need some bars. For the miner backpack, we are going to be requiring leather and cloth. And finally, for the Avalonian pickaxes, we're going to need 3 items: planks, bars, and finally Avalonian energy. Now, this energy was really expensive when this video was made, so what happened was I decided to set up a buy order. What is a buy order? Well, it's pretty much a buy order as the name suggests, so we are placing an order to buy a specific item. In this case, we're buying it for roughly 800 silver cheaper than we were if we bought it straight from the market. There is only one setback, which is we paid 2.5% extra tax in order to set up this buy order. And after a couple of minutes, it had filled, and we have our total of 40 energies needed for 2 Avalonian pickaxes. The only thing that's missing is just buying the materials and heading off to the station. Now, something else that we can't forget, since this is a fresh account and has no spec on anything, we also have to invest in those same materials or same items that we are going to study in order to unlock the tier 4 and tier 3. In this case, we bought a bunch of pickaxes tier 2 and tier 3, which were way more affordable to buy rather than crafting. So the only thing that's really missing now is just making our way into the toolmaker and crafting these items that we have so long wait to craft. Now, as you guys can see in the video, we cannot craft anything on the toolmaker, especially we cannot craft the Avalonian pickaxes even though we have the resources. So, in order to unlock it, let's go to the last tab and study the materials or the pickaxes that we bought from the market. So by studying the tier 2, we have unlocked the tier 3. Now we just have to repeat the same process in order to unlock the tier 4. So here what happens is we don't unlock the tier 4 because we didn't have enough pickaxes. So we can always use a couple of learning points in order to speed up the process of going back to the market, buying more pickaxes and coming back. So with learning points, we have unlocked the tier 4, so we can finally craft our Avalonian pickaxes, which do not need any salad as they don't have any quality, and we can just make our own profit. Now, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about the return rate, but it's very important that you know that you get 15.2% of your resources back when you craft something. However, these Avalonian energies never get the resources back, so you only get the materials themselves. You see, by us crafting only one pickaxe, we did not get any energy back, but we did indeed get some resources back. Same for the second pickaxe. Now the only thing that's missing is just go back to the market and selling these items that we just made and grabbing the next batch in order to craft some more. So here we're basically just selling the pickaxes that we just crafted and grabbing another batch of materials in order to craft the rest of the items, which in this case are going to be the miner work boots and the miner backpack. Now I'm going to speed up the process because this is just applying the same principles we just had to different items and just crafting them, nothing special about it. So we're going to just speed run it really quick and then see how much money we made with this small 10 to 15 minute crafting session, just crafting tier 4 items on a fresh account. Entombed in my mind, can't seem to break away. Lost in time, thinking about better days. Do you ever get used to the pain? 'Cause I don't know if I can do this again. Now you got me wondering why you let me die alone inside. I died for you, I cried for you, I tried for you. Tell me why you left me bleeding. I died for you, I cried for you. So let's go over and break down how much money it costed us and how much money did we make on this small crafting session. So starting off with the Avalonian pickaxe, well, we paid roughly 3,600 silver per Avalonian energy and we needed 20 of them. That gives a total of 72,000 silver. Now we paid roughly 270 silver per plank and per bar. That gives a total of 2,160 silver. Now, if we deduct the return rate, which is 15%, this means that it costed us 1,836 silver. That means the total for each pickaxe was 73,836 silver. Now, each pickaxe was selling on the market for 140,000 silver. That means we have made a total profit of 66,164 silver. Now we made 2, that means we profited 132,000 silver per both units. Now the miner work boots had a similar story, so we paid 270 for 8 bars. That is once again 2,160 silver for everything. Now if we multiply it by the return rate, which is 15%, and that gives 1,836 silver. Now they are selling for 4,020 silver. That means we are making 2,364 silver per unit. So that pretty much means that we are doubling our money. And finally, the miner's backpack, it costed us 2,400 in resources minus the return rate. That gives a total of 2,040 silver, and they are selling for 7,000 silver. That means we are profiting on each unit 4,960 silver. So this means in miner work boots we made a total profit of 347,508 silver, and on the miner backpacks we made 347,200 silver. So this means that with the bags, the pickaxes, and the boots, we made a whopping 827,036 silver, which is insane because we invested roughly 1 million and we didn't even invest at all, and we had 827,000 silver in return, which is basically doubling our money on a fresh account that has no spec or anything whatsoever. And the best part is you can do this every day on multiple cities, and you turn 1 million into 2, into 4, into 8, into 16, into 32, and when you notice it, you're just crafting yourself into a premium every month. Anyways guys, that is it for me. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button for more content like this. If you're also interested, I have a bunch of other content listed in my profile that you can watch about crafting and economy as a whole. That being said, I hope you guys have a lovely night, day, or whatever it is, and as usual, Nendys out.